to fifth episode of Assimilate Fireside Chat by Madrasati with Dr. Maitreyi Chennu, who is a consultant, obstetrician and gynecologist at Sankhya Hospitals. Today's episodes will bring you latest updates and expert opinions on most common problem faced by almost all women in India, not only in India but also entire world, which is PCOS. We welcome you, ma'am, today.
Thank you.
Ma'am, now let's deep dive into our discussion today. The first question we have is, what are the possible causes or contributing factors to develop PCOS, as like women around above 18 are most commonly affected with PCOD or PCOS?
It's actually a very wonderful question. And I wouldn't say it's above 18. I'm seeing a lot of cases where people, young girls from the age of from 13, 14, I'm seeing a lot of cases who are developing, PCOD. So nowadays, we can describe this PCOD as a new age disease, whereas PCOD, previously in our mothers and grandmothers, we have never seen these kind of PCOD issues. Why? We have to understand that as it is a new age disease, we are seeing like most of the environmental factors being contributed. So we can take that as a major cause. Everyone knows the major relative causes of PCOD, such as the unhealthy lifestyle habits, such as disturbances in your sleep, very major stress levels, and unhealthy food habits. Like people are consuming a lot of pre-packaged and extremely processed and refined foods, and along with that, they do not have any kind of exercise in their daily routine lifestyle. So along with these, we can also consider PCOD to be a part of a genetic, a few of them genes are present which contribute to the PCOD factors, but we have not seen them in the previous generation because they had a proper lifestyle. So these genes are being expressed in the younger generation right now because of these unhealthy lifestyles. So I could say that, a lot of, females who have excellent lifestyle and, are under less stress and having proper sleep habits will be able to, resolve the most common issues of PCOD.
Thank you for sharing that, ma'am. I completely agree. We'll further move on to the next question. What are the health risks associated with PCOS or PCOD, such as infertility, insulin resistance, and cardiovascular diseases?
So a lot of women tend to neglect PCOD because the only issue and only symptom that they actually do have is irregular cycles. So even if they miss a cycle or two, they're like, it's okay, I'm happy with that. Even if I don't get a cycle in between, they're not worth taking care of it. But we have to understand that PCOD can cause extreme and very severe long-term implications. One is due to chronic anovulation, the egg is not being released. So people do tend to get infertile. Like, the cause of infertility, PCOD is the major cause of infertility nowadays. So this infertility can be easily tackled with the lifestyle changes. Apart from that, a lot of, because of the insulin resistance and the other high, cholesterol levels, dyslipidemia, PCOD is an extremely high risk for developing insulin tolerance, the glucose tolerance, which can further cause into type 2 diabetes. And it can also cause extremely severe cardiovascular effects. And it can also, the major, most dreadful complication that we do see is increase in the endometrial thickness, that is the lining inside the uterus. So when a woman is overweight and is in chronic anovulation state, the endometrium, that is the inner lining of the uterus, tends to not shed. And when something is there in the body which is not altered by hormones, that there is a tendency for it to develop into cancer. So an increased risk of endometrial cancer is also seen in women with PCOD. So these severe complications can be easily managed. So I feel like women should be very aware of these complications, and not only the minor, the symptoms such as irregular cycles, overweight, and hirsutism, acne. Those can be treated easily, but these long-term effects have to be taken into consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. Absolutely, that is true. We just see the features or symptoms which are visible to us. We
Yes.
don't think of longer term complications which might be down the lane. Thank you for sharing. We'll further move on. What are the lifestyle modifications can be effective in managing PCOS?
Well, everyone, the first line treatment of PCOS or PCOD is lifestyle modification. That is the changes in the lifestyle. So it's easy for everyone to tell just exercise and diet. but everyone needs to know the depth in which goes in, the only sentence of lifestyle modification. So something which has to be developed in your lifestyle, it's supposed to be sustainable. It's supposed to be done in a long term. It's not like you do exercise for 1 month and your PCOD is cured. It doesn't work like that. So it's supposed to be something which happens for a long term time. Like you can cultivate this modification in your lifestyle for a long term process. So first, coming to the diet. In the diet, we do tell women to consume a more healthy, unprocessed food kind of diet, in which you try to eat home cooked meals, a high protein and less carbohydrate, with no sugars. And even if you do tend to, if you have a habit of going out with your friends and eating, try to limit that and eat it, in, eat outside food in moderation. Apart from that, we also tend to include healthy foods such as flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and include a more of a plant-rich diet in your plant-rich based diet. Along with that, in the exercise, we tend to tell women to have at least 150 minutes of exercise, moderate aerobic exercise in a week. That is, and that should include 2 days of strengthening exercises. So at least 30 minutes per day is what we recommend. And it can include, we would not say that, we should do only yoga, we should do only gym or this kind of exercise. Whatever can be done by you for a long-term process is something which we tell you to do. So if you are interested in yoga, continue yoga. If you are interested in dance or strengthening exercises, or you like to go to the gym, or you are interested in any sports like any swimming or anything like that, whatever can be done for a long-term process, it can be done. If you cannot do anything, we would just tell you at least to have a good amount of walking per day and do some floor mat exercises like some planks, squats, and jumping jacks, something which can be easily reproduced at home without any equipment and exercise. And apart from that, sleep is the most important one which we have to include in the lifestyle modification. At least 7 to 8 hours of good sleep in the night is what we tend to advise women. Nowadays, we see PCOD, a lot of hormonal disturbances in women who are more inclined in doing night shifts, and women who are more studying for their exams and going through the late night and having a lot of stressful activities. So try to find something which can de-stress your mood, and try to get in that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So apart from these, have a basic healthy lifestyle and a positive mindset is what we advise.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Absolutely, that's completely true, ma'am. Like with the present lifestyle everyone are having in the work-life balance, coming to sleep of 7 to 8 hours is quite difficult for
That's
everyone to have in the
Yes.
recent times. We will further move on. What are the myths that are commonly associated with PCOS and infertility? Is this really a myth, or it is a possible chance that PCOS may cause infertility also?
Well, I could say both yes and no. If a woman is, having a good, like, whatever I've told you till now, if she's following all that and she's getting the ovulation done in a good manner in her body, then there is a very, very well and likely chance that she can get pregnant naturally also. So, but in some cases where the PCOD has a lot of genetic component to it, and she's very resistant PCOD, and the ovulation is not happening, in those cases only, and that too, the cases are very limited, and it's a very less number compared to the vast majority. So, in case if you take 100 people, in that 80 to 85% people will get pregnant naturally, whereas the rest 15% may require some additional help from the doctors. Like some people might require only ovulation induction, that is only taking the tablets just to assist in the egg production. Whereas some people might require a little extra step where it requires the injections like gonadotropins. Only very limited, less than 5% of people who are very resistant to PCOD might require to go to IVF. So not everyone requires infertility, and not everyone is having difficulties to get pregnant. A lot of women can get pregnant naturally with PCOD.
Thank you for sharing that, ma'am. When coming to PCOS and PCOD, can you also explain the psychological and emotional effects that a woman has to go through, as it is a long time process of PCOS to get back to our regular lifestyles?
This is a very less and very unspoken topic about, which is the emotional aspect of PCOD. And for a woman to for herself to feel better, it is very important for her to get proper cycles on a regular time. That because cycles are influenced, by your hormones and your natural body circadian rhythm and all. So if anything does go abnormal in that, that means a woman's health and mental toll is also taking up part in it. So along with their regular cycles, a woman with PCOD is more prone to put on weight, and she is more prone to develop acne and hirsutism. That also does take a toll on her mental health, because a lot of women feel a little discomfort and socially awkward when they're going out with all these male pattern hair on their face. I have seen a lot of women who are actually diagnosed by the dermatologist because they have gone over there for the laser treatments and all that. And later they're diagnosed that the reason for the hair coming is PCOD. So they didn't know it otherwise till then. So and apart from that, the infertility aspect also there's a very huge toll on the mental health, because for a woman, it's very important for her, to feel complete as a woman. For a majority of women, when they have their own child, and PCOD kind of complicates that thing, because major component of PCOD is that your egg is not produced properly, and you cannot have your kids. So when that does happen, it does take a toll on the woman's health, and for that. You might think that for everything the doctor does tell just exercise and it'll be okay, but it actually does help even for your mental health also. Exercises, we all know that exercises releases endorphins, which are happy hormones. So it instantly de-stresses you, and it also helps in your hormone regulation. It decreases your LH, it decreases your insulin tolerance, it increases the chances of you getting proper ovulation. It decreases, the chances the facial acne and the hirsutism. All those things will get decreased, and it will also help with your mood regulation also. Sometimes doctors also do supplement, certain kind of tablets which are called as supplements for PCOD, which are non-hormonal things which do help with that. So inositols, vitamin D, zinc, chromium, omega-3 fatty acids, those two also will help in that. Melatonin also actually acts as a good mood stabilizer in PCOD also. So these are not something to be taken on your own. So do visit your doctor nearby and take their advice, and do consider this. But yes, please have a look into your mental health also, and it's important for that to address that to your doctor and not to deal with that yourself, because it's very important for you to take help.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Yeah.
taking your time and giving us a talk on the most important topic. Irrespective of age, every woman should know about this common
Yes.
affecting syndrome, PCOS or PCOD. Thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.